Hey, how's it going everyone? Today we're going to be looking at Graduation by Kanye West. This one was requested by Mr. Bluetooth Snorter. So shout out to him for requesting it. Graduation is the third record from Mr. West, released in 2007. An album that most likely everyone knows, even if you don't know who Kanye West is. But as far as Kanye, he is a Chi-Town rapper, producer, fashion designer, actor, the list goes on. I'm sure you know who Kanye West is by now, and whether you love him or hate him, it's pretty much undeniable that he has definitely left his mark in music and pop culture. Kanye is one of the most versatile artists of all time, seemingly able to switch through different genres effortlessly from one album to the next. On top of all that, Kanye is one of the only old school rappers that is still equally, if not even more culturally relevant today. Starting his career 20 years ago, he has been consistently putting out records that just kind of try to outdo the last. As a result of his constant drive to outperform, Kanye is known to have a very extensive and very solid discography. Many rappers that gained mainstream recognition in the 2000s just weren't capable of keeping up due to their inability to continuously release game-changing albums. Perhaps the two most well-known examples of this are rappers Eminem and 50 Cent. Both of these rappers released great albums in the 2000s. They were filled with rage and ambition. Then they would release a few follow-up records that just were so much more pale in comparison, and it really set them back and eventually would rob them of their relevancy. That has yet to happen to Kanye, as nowadays it is pretty much impossible to go on the internet and not see this guy's face. I am aware of his outrageous things he has said and done in the media, and those things definitely can't be just excused. But when it comes to his work, I am a firm believer of separate the art from the artist, unless the horrible traits of the artist is blatant in the actual music. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's talk about the build-up to Graduation, the actual album we're looking at today. Enough time wasted. So going all the way back, Kanye has had a strong passion for music as a kid and started out merely as a producer. In the late 90s, he was signed to Rockefeller Records and was producing beats for rapper Jay-Z. One of the most significant beats he produced in that time for Jay-Z was on the hit song Izzo, H-O-V-A. During the early 2000s, Kanye aspired to move on from producing and become a full MC, though he was faced with instant heavy backlash and resistance telling him to stick to producing. In addition to the discouraging words from people all around him, in 2002, he got into a near fatal car crash that left his jaw fractured and wired shut. I could make a whole video on this topic alone, but the gist is he was able to get up and keep pushing. He released his first record, College Dropout, in 2004, doing all the rapping and producing himself. This debut album had a unique production style and flow, paired with a theme that is not really talked about in the 2000s hip-hop scene, which sets him apart from his competition. This album was a super impressive introduction with so much flavor and innovation. Kanye would release his second album, Late Registration, the following year, and I've always seen this album as kind of the College Dropout Part 2. The themes and production style of this album is pretty much identical to the last, and the title of this record kind of suggests that it is in fact a sequel to the last record. Then 2 years later in 2007, we get Graduation, which has a title that suggests that it is Part 3 of the school series. Thematically, Graduation does build off of his previous two records, but sound-wise, this album is pretty much completely different. Graduation is layered with 808s, synths, bass, giving it a much more hi-fi sound production. This record is really what got Kanye going and launched him into his mainstream era. Now that we got the background, let's dive into it track by track. Track 1 of Graduation is Good Morning, which samples Elton John's Someone Save My Life Tonight. This song is obviously very gorgeous, but we kind of have to realize that this sample is really like the only thing going for that. Taking a look at the song structure, there is not really anything too impressive here to note. I mean, the chorus is just like a repeating cycle of Kanye saying good morning and then playing the Elton John sample. We also have a Jay-Z appearance near the back end of this song, where he just says the same line over and over again in the back. I really think the potential of Jay-Z and Kanye's collaboration efforts was not really explored far enough on this song. So yeah, I do think this song's a little overrated, but there is still lots to love about it, of course. As far as Kanye's rapping, it's pretty good. I like the pitch delivery and the rhyming he has going on. Even though I wanted more from Jay-Z on this track, the chemistry we did get between these two artists is not bad by any means. So let's move on to track 2, which is Champion. This song samples Steely Dan's Kid Charlemagne. This track is clearly using the sample in a much better and more clever way than Good Morning. Kanye is talking about his rags to riches story, and you know, we love a good rags to riches story. At the end of the song, we get a little singing bit from singer/model Tiana Taylor. This is easily my favorite part of the song. It's something about her voice paired with like the energy of the beat. They really like complement each other very well here. Track 3 is the most popular track, Stronger. This song samples Daft Punk's Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger. I love the production of this song. Kanye pretty much just slowed the sample down and added these powerful kick drums in the back to accompany it, giving it much more of a snap. It just flows so well. I mean, during the pre-chorus, the beat gives you this like galloping and like urgent feeling. It's just great production all around. The rapping from Kanye is also pretty good here. Although at this point in the album, I kind of am looking for a vocal delivery switch up, as he's kind of been using like the same flow throughout this record so far. But that's Stronger, a really solid song, really replayable song, and a timeless song as well. So track 4, I lost count for a sec. Track 4 is I Wonder. I think everyone knows this song right now because of the internet and TikTok and the sounds and whatnot. To be honest, I've never really been crazy about this song. It kind of really starts really weak. Samples My Song by Labi Siffre. I think that's how you pronounce it. And you know, there's always the joke about the irony of this title, considering that people who know Labi Siffre's My Song don't actually know who Labi Siffre is. And I don't even know who Labi Siffre is. Like, that says a lot. I can't even pronounce his name right. So, you know, comment down below, did I spell his name correctly? If I didn't, I'm sorry. I don't know. But as far as the track I Wonder goes, I think the usage of this sample is kind of just okay. And I get it. Sampling something like this in an abstract way is not typically the easiest thing to do. Kanye's delivery in this first part is really awkward and like robotic, I would say. You say I think I'm never wrong. It just sounds so childish, bro. But luckily it does get better from here. The TikTok famous part that goes like, and I'm back on my grind. I love that verse. Not because it is motivational or emotional, but mostly because Kanye is finally switching it up with a different flow delivery that really just rolls off the tongue. I talk about how most of the songs on Graduation has a similar flow, but that is absolutely not the case with this right here. So yeah, on I Wonder, there are parts I love and parts I hate. Let's just move on to Good Life featuring T-Pain. I honestly don't have much to say about this track. It's a good one to put on when you like have finally achieved something. Like, it's a really good graduation song. I like T-Pain's inclusion, which like provides us with a really good like chorus as well as great ad-libs sometimes. It's a song that you just can't hate, but at the same time I don't find it to be special. Next track is Can't Tell Me Nothing. This song is a slight shift in mood as he talks about his stubbornness and recklessness. Some of the lines here kind of aged pretty poorly, or very well, like depending on how you choose to look at it. I feel the pressure under more scrutiny, and what I do, act more stupidly. Maybe it's not in the way it aged, but it kind of just shows that Kanye has always been Kanye. Overall, the production is pretty solid. It's a great use of samples. It's a good song. So then let's move on to Barry Bonds featuring Lil Wayne. This track is usually considered to be one of the 2 weak links on this album, and I kind of have to agree on that. First, Kanye's lyricism is kind of a bit unhinged at certain points, but the overall picture does a good job of like painting him as a badass. This song had a pretty good horn sample that gives it even more theme and kind of like a good bass. Then we move on to Lil Wayne's verse, which is just like not good at all. His delivery is very sloppy, It does not match the beat's energy whatsoever. In fact, there are glimpses where Wayne just clearly falls behind on the actual rhythm. He clearly goes off beat sometimes here. And coming from Lil Wayne, that's crazy. So yeah, kind of disappointed in that sense. His writing is also not all that great either. Some lines here are just super weak or just doesn't make any sense, while others are just plain dumb. Whenever they make them, I shall have them. Oops, I mean have them. I'm so crazy. I'm such a havoc. Oops, I mean havoc. Stove on my waist, turn beef to patties. And I ate it cause I'm so avid. No homo. Yeah, it's kind of so bad that it's good. Barry Bonds is clearly a song that has its highs, but also has its treacherously low lows. We move on then to Drunk and Hot Girls featuring Yasin Bey, known as the second weak link on this album, and yeah, it's also not good. Instead of having an unlistenable sound or just a few cringy lines like Barry Bonds, Drunk and Hot Girls is just boring. It's a super repetitive song, repeating a hook that is not even that good to begin with. Mos Def's part in this song is the only part that is not just Kanye repeating himself, and even still I wanted more from Mos Def because he kind of just came in, said a whole bunch of nothing, and then just left. I really wish Mos Def could give more effort into this verse because the stuff he was putting out in the 90s were so great, and here in the late 2000s, like, what have we become? Let's not waste any more time on this insignificant song and let's just move on to Flashing Lights featuring Dwell. Yeah, Flashing Lights, probably the most recognizable song on this album. I think this song has the most interesting production by far. It just sounds so dazzling and makes great use of the new synths. Kanye's delivery is not anything crazy, and for this song, I really think it should stay that way. I love pretty much every part of this song, from the slow pace to the layering on the chorus, although there's that one line that aged pretty badly. Damn, these people got me. I hate these people more than the Nazis. Overall though, it's a song that I can always just put on and enjoy. Next track is Everything I Am featuring DJ Premier. This song is the only one that is not fully produced by Kanye, as DJ Premier makes his appearance on this track. This collaboration results in probably my personal favorite beat used on this album. I just love how laid back it sounds. The piano is such a great addition. It's simplistic, but it gets the job done. This beat brings back some elements from the more lo-fi production style Kanye was using in his earlier records, College Dropout and Late Registration. Just an enjoyable and chill track, nothing more, nothing less. So the next track is The Glory, which samples the song Save the Country by Laura Nyro. Shout out to Laura Nyro, by the way. Heavily underrated. Kanye supports her vocals on that song with an additional harmony in the back. The beat, also gives me kind of flashbacks of his earlier works as well, just in the way that Kanye uses these high-pitched samples as sort of ad-libs. Vocally, Kanye packs a punch, rapping with much more speed and rage than ever before. No one really talks about this song, but it's honestly one of my personal favorite tracks here. Next track is Homecoming featuring Chris Martin. In the song, Kanye is reminiscing about a girl he met when he was 3 named Wendy. It does a pretty good job of capturing Kanye's sense of nostalgia back in Chicago. Chris Martin's singing on this hook is very well done, and I would also say the same for his little outro section that he did. The song does a very good job of keeping the pace going, and in turn, it flows very well. Next track is Big Brother. This song discusses the relationship between Jay-Z and Kanye's younger self. Kanye discusses his shyness when it comes to interacting the one he idolizes. Throughout the song, Kanye never explicitly says Jay-Z's name, but drops a lot of subtle hints and clues to which, even though it's not explicitly said, everyone kind of knows that he's kind of talking about Jay-Z. It's kind of interesting that he didn't have Jay-Z appear on this song, but he did have him appear on Good Morning. The production and rapping is pretty good. I don't have much to say about this one. Let's move on to the last track, Good Night featuring I'll Be Back and Yasin Bey again. This is a song that's kind of just okay to me. The song provides a more soothing contrast compared to the rest of the album, which has been super flashy and fast the whole time. This track works very well at wrapping up the album with a serene ending, but I kind of just see it as just that. I don't really find myself revisiting this song much at all. It's just a closer, and we'll leave it at that. So yeah, that's my track by track in-depth analysis here. Overall, Graduation introduces a very new sound to Kanye's career and is a very great benchmark to look back at. The newly added synths give this album a very fancy touch and a very futuristic one for the time. These aspects have definitely been borrowed by other artists over the years, and which is why this album doesn't sound as fresh as it did back then. Overplaying also contributes a lot to that, because the songs on this album are either just played to shit or just not even recognized. So yes, I do think there are a few hidden gems in this record amidst all of the mainstream tracks. The Glory, Everything I Am, they're great examples of this. But at the same time, songs like Stronger and Flashing Lights are hits that still sound great to me after hearing it like 100 times. Flashing Lights is produced in such a way that is so far ahead of its time that it still sounds fresh to this day. And the rest of the tracks, however, just didn't really stick out to me very much. Other than a few standout tracks, the rest of the album is just kind of overrated. I Wonder, Good Morning, Good Life, the list goes on there. The sampling on Graduation is also pretty good. I would say that it is nowhere near as good as the first two records. It's still pretty good. And that's kind of to be expected, because on this album, Kanye is letting the synths and the bass carry more weight. For mic delivery, Kanye has been rapping pretty consistently throughout the songs, with occasional switch-ups in flow. I have been pretty disappointed with the features, however. Respected names in the hip-hop industry like Lil Wayne and Mos Def, they came on this album and just did not deliver the way they should. It really just sounded like not much effort was even put in for these verses. Like, the writing is just so elementary and lazy. So yeah, Graduation definitely has its hits and misses. My favorite track is between Stronger, Flashing Lights, and Everything I Am. Right now, I do love Everything I Am the most, like today, like right now. But I think Flashing Lights is the song that I'm gonna have to go with here, because it has really just been my favorite track for a very long time. I think I've been listening to this song for over 2 years by this point. And yet I am still able to enjoy it today, even, you know, after all that time. Again, this song is just so fancy and futuristic. Listening to this makes you kind of feel like a fashion icon. My least favorite track is definitely between Barry Bonds and Drunken Hot Girls, as expected. But I'm gonna have to go with Drunken Hot Girls as the worst one. Barry Bonds has a pretty bad verse with cringe-worthy lines, but Barry Bonds isn't gonna make me fall asleep whenever I put it on. At least Barry Bonds has a few high points, and I don't even know what I'm supposed to talk about when it comes to Drunken Hot Girls. Drunken Hot Girls is very lazy and just forgettable and boring, so that's my least favorite track. And that's pretty much wrapping up the review there. Graduation by Kanye West is introducing a new sound, and one that's filled with synth and bass, while standout tracks like Flashing Lights and Everything I Am remain impressive. Some features on the songs fall short, making the album really like unbalanced, and honestly a little overrated too. I am legit feeling a 6.8 on Graduation by Kanye West. So that's it for the review. Make sure to comment, like, subscribe, do what you want, and yeah. Make sure to comment down what you think about this album. Did I rate it too high? Did I rate it too low? And I'm gonna see you guys next time.